Does the symbol represent a line, segment, ray, or a length? So the first one is A. Is that a line, a segment? I already lost. I'm sure you got it. Yeah.
Segment.
It is a segment. Yeah. All right, someone new. Next one. Yeah.
Ray.
That's a ray. All right, C.
Line.
That's a line. PQ. PQ. Yeah. That's a length. I think the biggest one to remember is length. All right, because unlike the test, I probably won't say, define this. I'm just going to say, draw this, and the shape above it pretty much tells you what to draw, right? It tells you to draw a point at P and a Q somewhere over there in a line. So a lot of these you can kind of figure out how to draw. Length, you can't. Yeah.
Can we call that distance?
You can call it distance. Yep. The reason why I called it length is because I put it up here. If it was on the test, distance is fine. Distance is 100% fine. All right. It's kind of that one that I can say find PQ, and if you don't know it's a length, you won't know how to do it. But if I say draw PQ, like this guy, just from the top, you could probably figure out how to draw it. All right. How many endpoints does a segment have? How many endpoints does a segment have? Yeah. 2. It has the old dose, because if I draw a segment, both of those are endpoints. How many does a ray have? Or do you have a question, or you go to the next one? Okay, what's the next one? 1. It does. It has 1. All right, how many does a line have? I don't think I heard from you. Endpoints.
Oh, endpoints. So that would be just 1. All right.
Careful. How many endpoints does a segment have?
Oh, 2.
How many does a ray have?
1.
How many does a line have?
There's
3?
3.
What do you think? 0. It's actually 0. The endpoints have to be, you actually put a point right here. I get what you're doing. You're looking for how many points does it have along, because that is infinite. It has infinite points, but I asked for end points. Yep. You get the subtle difference, right? Endpoint versus points. I don't want you to incorrectly put down 0 if I say how many points they are now. All right. Subtle different questions. Awesome. All right. We're looking at this picture here. Is segment AB the same thing as segment BA? Are those two things the same thing? Yes, they are. And they are because, let me draw a picture for you. I'm going to draw a segment AB. Do y'all see that? Now on top of that, I'm going to draw a segment BA. Minus the color, did it change? Nope, they're the same exact thing. I would draw the exact same picture no matter what you say. All right, is ray AB the same as ray BA? Did you have it, or did you just... I saw your hand for a second. No? No, you want to take a guess? 50-50? No. If you were just guessing, you guessed correct. It is no, and let's talk about why. Let me draw AB. Let me draw AB. So ray AB would look like that. Blue is AB, because the ray tells me to start at A. That's where my endpoint is. And it tells me the infinity is going to go past B. Do we all agree this is ray AB? Do we all get that? All right. Now I'm going to draw BA on top of it. BA says that my endpoint's at B, and I go towards the A direction. Are the red arrows and the blue arrow the same shape? Well, same shape, but are they the same direction? Are they exactly the same? No. So no is correct. Those are two different drawings. Are we okay with that? You somehow look angry at that. Yeah. So I'm just asking, are they the exact same thing? All right, that's what the question is. Do you agree that this is ray AB. We're okay with it. So this starts here and goes on forever. If I said draw ray BA, so this one, would you make the same drawing? Because they're on the same line and they look, yeah. Yeah.
So, like, for the ray part above, it doesn't matter which direction. So the arrow is always facing that way, even though the ray, like, for AB,
Gotcha.
or for BA, it's not actually facing that way.
Correct. It's always going to face towards this point here.
Yeah.
Yep. Even though it looks like it's going this direction, it's not going to go this direction up here.
Yeah.
I think the easiest way to look at that is, do you see where this B is? That always has to be the start point.
Yeah.
And it has to go through A, so it has to go this direction for that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Most of the time we draw rays, we'll almost always draw them in this direction over the shape. You can on your own flip it and call it AB with the arrow going that way to help you.
Yeah.
But in the book and on a test, they'll almost always face this direction. It is your job to decide which direction it goes on the drawing.
Yeah.
You clear?
Yeah.
Are you good?
So then if it would be the same, it would go the same way.
It would have to go the same way too. Yep. Can I show you one that would be the exact same? I'll put one up here that would be the exact same. So you see that BA there. So we know that one's no. But let me change that just a bit. I'm going to change that to, watch the arrow above that. Are those two the same rays? What do you think?
Yes. So we have the same starting point?
Yep. So see how our starting point is A on this one, and it goes towards B? This one starts at A and goes towards B. Starts at A, goes towards B. Those are the exact same. Did that help or make it worse? Are you okay? Okay. Don't let me go on if you're still confused. You're good. Okay, good. All right. Is line AB the same thing as line BA? Is line AB the same thing as line BA?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the same thing. Because watch this. This is line AB. This is line BA. No matter how I draw it, it's going to go in the same. It's still going to go on forever in both directions. Is distance AB the same thing as distance BA?
Yes.
Yes. If I measure from me to you, and then I measure from you to me, unless I'm terrible at measuring stuff, it better be the same distance. So that is yes. Once again, this is saying measure from here to here, and then measure from here to here is at the same distance. So what's really the tricky one? Rays, you have to really keep careful on which order you put stuff in, and the arrows above it. So if you have questions on rays, now's the time to ask them. When we're doing work time, make sure you understand how the arrows work and what's happened with rays, because they can be the most confusing out of any of those. All right, that being said, any questions on any one of these four? Yeah, sorry.
So like the line over the top for rays, so like it matters about how they're placed, right? Or,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
if
very
they're
much so.
going the other direction, then you place it like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So like this one, see how it goes B to A is the arrow's going that way?
Yeah.
If I'd flip that arrow, that means my A would be a starting point and B would be where it goes forever. Yep. So the arrows are very, very important. What is the coordinate of P and R? I'm going to do those. I like coordinates. The coordinate of P would be -2 because it's just the number below P. And of R would just be 0. I like those because they're nice and easy. All right, we'll go. Name the point with coordinate 2. Name the point with coordinate 2. T. So if I go over at 2, there's a T up there? No. Can someone find the distance between R and S? What is the distance from R to S? Yeah. 1. So if I go from R to S, yeah, 1. So RS equals 1. What's the distance to RQ? R to Q. R to Q. Yeah.
1,
Why isn't it negative 1?
because it's always absolute value.
Oh, it's always the absolute value. Distance is always positive. So even though RS is 1, RQ can also be 1. Doesn't matter which direction you're going, you're just counting that distance. What's the distance to PT?
4.
4. Can someone tell me what the formula is? I mean, this is pretty easy because I could just count it. Does anyone remember the formula from yesterday to actually find those? Yeah.
X1 minus X2.
With?
With things, the absolute values.
Absolute value bars around it. Is it okay if you flip the two? Can I do x sub 2 minus x sub 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just doing 1 point minus the other one. Take the absolute value of it. Awesome. Name 3 segments congruent to PQ. First of all, what does congruent mean? What does congruent mean? Someone from this side of the room. I haven't heard much from this side of the room. What is congruent? What is congruent? Yeah.
The same.
Same length. I'm looking for something that's the same length. And PQ is 1 unit, so you just got to name 3 things that are 1 unit long. Can someone give me one of the segments? Actually, can someone give me 3 segments? Just give me a second to write them down. See where I was heavy on this side. Yeah. Okay, ST. Give me 2 more.
RS.
R. And what was the third one? I'm sorry. QR. Let's check these out. ST, that's 1 unit. RS, that's 1 unit. QR, that's 1 unit. Awesome job. Name the ray opposite SP. Name the ray opposite SP. Sometimes rays are the most difficult part. Who thinks they know the ray opposite SP? Destroyer. Crutches.
Yes. It's ST.
It is ST.
I'm crutch now, since you're the one.
I called you Destroyer. You wanted to be called Destroyer.
Oh,
But you didn't respond to that.
no.
Which way is the arrow going?
That way.
To the right?
Yes.
Let's draw that. So we have, let's go ahead and draw the first thing. So it says SP. That is this ray here. So ST has to go in completely opposite direction, and it has to have the same starting point. See, this one has a starting point S. We know that because the S is below the starting point. So this has the S below the starting point and is going to go right. Let's do that in a different color. That is definitely an opposite ray. Goes in the opposite direction but has the same endpoint. Name the midpoint of PT. Can someone give me the midpoint of PT? PT. Yeah.
R.
R. Or you could say 0. I would accept either one of those. All right, what is the coordinate of the midpoint of ST? What is the coordinate of the midpoint of ST? Yeah. 1.5. And I'm going to answer the last one. Can I list all the numbers between 1 and 2? No, you cannot, because there's an infinite number of numbers between 1 and 2. In fact, I couldn't even list the next number after 1, because it'd be 1.000, infinite number of zeros, and then a 1. But I can't write an infinite number of zeros, so I'm not going to do that. Last 4, if you haven't already, do these. Find the distance between those 2 points. I want you to use the formula at least on 2 of them. I want you to use the formula on at least 2 of them. I know you can do it in your head, but yeah.
So do you have to, can you just write the numbers inside the absolute value?
Yep. So I do like absolute value bars. So let me show you an example of me using the formula -2 minus 6, and then you can just solve it from there, right? So this would just be 8. I just want to see that on 2 of yours. As I'm walking around, I should see it on 2 of yours. So I should see that formula. And we'll talk about All right, so I got 8, 4, 8, and 8. And the whole reason why I want you to at least know the formula on the test, if you just, on this number 1, you put down 4, and all you put in this blank is 4, 4 is not the correct answer, nor do you have any work. So that means you just get 0 points for that problem. However, if you would write -2 minus 6 equals 4, I could probably give you most of your points, if not all your points, if it's like the only time you made like a little mistake. Because I saw your thought process, I just realized that you made some little mistake. Maybe you did -2 plus 6 by accident in your head. At least I can see what you're thinking. I give you points. So just putting that formula down can be all points versus no points because of a silly mistake. So specifically on a test, it's always a good idea, if you have time, just at least show me something. It doesn't take long to write -2 minus 6. It doesn't take that long. It takes about as long as it does while you're thinking about it. All right, so just jot something down so I can give you points. All right, any questions on anything we covered today? Anything covered in your entire life? No, we're good on our whole life up to now? No, did you say no? All right, the rest of the time will be yours to work on the homework. Do we have any questions from the homework? I'm sorry, that was supposed to be, I didn't brought it since you asked first. Yeah.
12 and 13.
12 and 13. No, this isn't quite right. Cool. All right. So now I have it. All right. 12 and 13. 12 says, let's take a picture of it. Let's take a picture of that guy. This will also have the answer. A little blurry this time, but that'll be okay. Is KT the same as KM? So if I'm drawing KT, I'm going to go ahead and color this in. KT would be that ray, correct? If I was drawing KM, I would draw something that starts at K and goes forever past M. Would I need to change my drawing?
No,
No, so they're the same.
I thought KM would be like a second to that.
Nope, because it still has that ray thing. All right.
And then, yeah,
Same thing for 13. Even though you're not naming all the points, remember 2 points make the entire line. So KT is this full line, KM is still that full line too. Does that make more sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome.
Wait, I forgot about 2 more questions.
Okay, can I go to someone else?
Yes.
I always like to bounce around. Yeah.
I don't understand 16. Why you 16?
Oh, okay. Why it's not true?
Yeah.
All right, so it says TM plus MH equals TH. So what we're doing, I'm going to highlight it. That's the distance from T to M plus the distance from T to H. I'm sorry, from M to H. When I add these two things together, is that this length?
No.
No.
Wait, I thought that's what it was.
Yes. You just have to be careful. That's why I set this up this way. If this was a straight line, if this was TMH, then yes, it would equal, but that only works if it's a straight line.
Okay.
All right, you have to think about, I'm adding this plus that doesn't equal this distance. Can you picture it on a straight line though? Can you picture it being like T to M and then M to H? That would equal that total? Does that make a little more sense? Awesome. Other questions? Yeah.
So, like, say on number 6,
Okay.
like if you said K to M, but
me-
on the diagrams, there won't always be like congruent marks, right? Like sometimes we'll have to.
You can never eyeball it. You can, if you're ever eyeballing something and say it looks about right, you're not doing it right. All right? Does that?
Like, but say like if there was a diagram, and then like if something was congruent, will it always be marked?
It will always be marked, or it will say it in the directions. Something in the directions.
Okay.
Or it'll be something you can kind of figure out.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you'll never, ever have to assume two things are congruent. It'll either be marked or saying in the directions. That's why we kind of have that, it intersects at the midpoint of HL. That's how I could draw these, because this was a midpoint.
Oh, okay. So it's either.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
For number 24 and 25,
Okay.
it says the coordinate of the midpoint of segment BD.
Mm-hmm.
In the answer, it's a -1. Can you just write C?
Well, coordinate is technically a number.
Okay.
If you wrote C on a test, I wouldn't take any points off because we're looking at the same area. I'm really just looking for, what's that midpoint of BD. It is nice to know that coordinates are a number, kind of like when you have the coordinate plane.
Mm-hmm.
And ask for the coordinates of a point, you give the x and y value as numbers. But I wouldn't take any points off on a test. Do you have a question, or you?
Well, like on the homework days.
The student that we're working on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, just hold on to that. I'll walk around and I'll help you. Other questions on last night's homework? Sorry about skipping that, guys.